Hi, we'll be discussing about um, a new topic that's related to the Ukraine and Russia. Now, it's not an update about Ukraine and Russia, rather, we would be looking at how the countries will be aligning towards the European Union or what is going to happen to the NATO allies. Like, are they going to expand or are they going to shrink down? But based on the recent information, we were able to see two more countries who were not aligned to either the Warsaw Group or the NATO group. But Warsaw is not actually existing. It has already been abolished in 1955. Somewhere around 1955, it has been totally abolished. Like when you can just go through the history, you will understand what is the Warsaw Pact, WARSAW, Warsaw Pact, which was a counter to the NATO ally, which was somewhere formed around 1945. So we'll understand who are those two countries, but we'll be specifically pointing on only one country, which is found to be a very special country. This country has the cleanest form of air, and it is called as the land of thousand lakes because it contains more than 187,000 lakes in it. Then it is one of the country where you can see the spectacular view of northern lights. Northern lights, or you can call that is aurora borealis. The one that is opposite to aurora borealis can be seen in Australia, which is aurora australis. Those are called as the northern and southern lights. So you can see a very spectacular view of the northern lights in this country. And this country is the third least corrupted country in the world. It is also the owner of um, the Nokia company. The master Nokia company was available in this country, and this country also has the best educational system in the world. Like uh, I can just easily compare it with our country's educational system. The one in our country who can clear a civil service is equivalent to that of a graduate in Finland. That is how the education system is. It's very systematic, very orderly, and they are updated with the happenings in the world. The syllabus is framed in such a manner that they are having a cutting edge technology in their syllabus every time they revise it. And they are the happiest country in the world. So the happy index, when it comes to the rank based on the happy index, this country comes first. I guess like you know which country is this. This country is called as the Finland. Okay, so the Finnish uh, people, all we call this the Finns, Finns. Finns. The people in Finland are called as the Finns. But do you know what it had? It really had a very harsh history, which we can't even imagine about, because whatever we know about Finland now appears to be that it is a very peaceful country, but it had come through a very harsh time, very tough time, that they had to tear apart within themselves to form a country that is peaceful now, looks to be peaceful now, but as I say, the ebb and tide comes and goes. So no country can always be peaceful. That is the current scenario now after the Ukraine Russia war. So why is that? Like the news comes up in such a way that the Finland is planning to revise their security policy in such a way that they would like to align towards the NATO, but they do not want to counter their biggest neighbor around. The biggest neighbor is going to be the Russia. So we need to understand where the Finland lies. Are they between Russia and the European countries? So the geography speaks about it. Let's look about that in this map. So basically, what was the harsh history that this Finland had? To be very much precise, Finland shares 1,340 kilometer border with Russia. So, as of now, President Sauli Niinisto was seriously speaking about the change in the security policy because of the expansion that the Russia is doing uh, through the war in Ukraine. They are trying to look at in that fashion now. So the president wanted to go with a poll, a public opinion, to whether take this issue to the parliament, and the public policy, that is one of the important way they govern the country. Like before taking a decision, they go with a public poll, and based on the public percentage, they decide whether to take it up. So based on the public poll, 53% of their citizens have asked the government to align towards the NATO than to be neutralized. But 5 years back, a similar poll was taken where the country said that the country should avoid aligning with the NATO. It was like 19% of the citizens only accepted about moving and aligning towards the NATO. Now let us look at the history of a relationship between the Finland and Russia. When I talk about relationship, we always term that they had a very peaceful and a friendly relationship. It did not happen like that. Finland was actually found to be between the East and the West. When I'm talking about East and West, the East is going to be Russia and the West is going to be the European countries. So the Finland was amidst these two, where Finland had a border with Russia, who is the biggest of his neighbor. So back in somewhere in 19th century, we could always see that Finland was part of Swedish kingdom. Then the Finland was taken over by the Russia from Sweden in 1808, and there were lots of war between the East and the West to acquisite Finland towards them. The European countries wanted Finland with them, and at the same time, Russia did not want Finland to move away from them. So when we started looking at further of the history, we were able to see that under the Russian Tsar Alexander II, Finland was allowed a special status, but it has to run based on the rules of Russia, which means like the Finland country can have their own currency, their own affairs, but its language was not recognized until 1902. So it took like 100 years for them to have it been recognized. Finally, it became independent in 1917 after a Russian Revolution was led by Vladimir Lenin, one of the leaders, like prominent leaders in Russia. But sooner, within a year, like in 1918, a bloody civil war broke between the communist people inside Russia and the people in Finland, where both of them were having war for nearly 2 decades. So exactly in November 1939, Soviet leader Joseph Stalin, you should have known about this leader too. So Joseph Stalin attempted an invasion over the Finland, and that led to the war called as the Winter War. It's one of the important historical war that happened between Finland and Russia. During that war, Russia did not expect the Finns to resist. See, you can easily see the same type of strategy that has been followed by the Ukraine here. Finns did a very high resistance against the Russian forces, as like now the Ukrainians are doing a higher resistance against the Russian forces. So everybody was like surprised. How did the Finns try to resist the massive Russian forces? To be very much precise, there are two important things to be termed. One is that the legal heroin that was in Finland was used as an aspirin by the people inside Finland. They tried to take it in, like they consumed it, and they fought the war with a running nose. Like throughout day and night they fought the war. What is the purpose of an aspirin over there? It's a painkiller on one side, and it keeps you alert and active. It has many side effects on one side, but in order to win the war, in order to claim their motherland, they consumed it and they fought the war. So the Russians couldn't take this resistance. On the other side, there was a war hero. I think you would have known about him as White Death. He's a Finn, and his name is Simo Heha. With a sniper, he killed 505 Russian soldiers with sniper. A single man handled 505 Russian soldiers. It's very amazing to know such a thing. And this winter war actually turned to be winning for Finnish people. However, they lost a large mass of territory to Russia. So again, like during World War II, Finland joined. See, because as they lost the land to them, Finland wanted to regain it. So what they did was, like, during the World War II, they had to take sides. They joined with the Nazi Germany to fight against Russia. But you know about what happened with the Germany and Russian war. Ultimately, the Germany lost, so the Finland has also to face this loss. So they couldn't take back the land. But once the World War II ended, the Cold War began. You know what is Cold War? So the NATO allies formed on one side, the Russia-based ally, which is called as the Warsaw Group, which means there was a Warsaw Pact signed in Poland. The capital of Poland was Warsaw. It's Warsaw where the pact was signed, where these two groups did have their own allies and groups fighting against each other in the form of a Cold War. And between them is a boundary called as the Iron Wall. We'll have this in history, but this is not the point now, because we are talking about the Finland people. So finally, after this formation of Cold War, or the emergence of the Cold War, Finland signed a treaty in 1948 with Moscow, that they promised that their country, like the Finland, would not be used neither by Russia to attack the NATO allies, nor the NATO groups cannot use Finland to target or abolish the Russian forces or the Soviet forces. So based on that treaty, Russia did not provoke, Russia did not disturb Finland, and Finland was like running their governance and politics based on the Russian governance system. But as per the politics of Russia, but the governance was basically based on the like Western side, the European side. So the Finland started to become a hybridized model, where they were mixed again, like they were amidst the European sides as well as the Russian sides, but they were neutralized and were diplomatic all these years. But as soon as the Soviet Union collapsed, Finland joined the European Union in 1995, because there was, you know about what happened to USSR. After that collapse, like Finland had to take a side, so they had to shift themselves towards the European Union. However, all these years, Finland has tried to be away from the clutches of Russia by not angering them, but not provoking them. And they still hope that Russia would not do the same thing as they have done with Ukraine towards Finland. But however, any country will always have their own fears. So as like Finland, even Sweden is also trying to find a suitable ally. Both the countries are trying whether to stay neutralized or to take sides. So that is the current thing that is going on. So I hope you'll understand. You might have understood what is the Finland-Russia harsh war, the Winter War, and what happened to Finland after that, and what is Iron Wall, what is the Warsaw Pact. Like, if you are really interested, we'll go on understanding what is Warsaw Pact in few videos later. I hope like you would have liked this video. If you would have liked this video, sub below and then like this video, and we'll see in few more videos yet to come. Thank you and have a great time. Bye.